Sean Capri, and welcome to episode 130 of We the GamerCast. It publishes on iTunes and Google Play and mother-loving YouTube every Monday. Thank you for subscribing, hitting the thumbs up, even after that nonsense. What am I even doing? The thing on the audio isn't even working. Here's what we're going to have to do, everybody. I'm going to have to take the video because ain't no way I'm doing that again. This day is damned by technology. I'm staring at the Audacity. Why? So who knows? Usually I use that little bar to go like, am I redlining too much? Am I, all that fancy dancy audio stuff that I don't know much about? Who knows? Hopefully I don't have to do this all over again because that was, whew, my eyeballs just about popped out on that. How are you? Thank you for being here and for listening, and thank you to everybody for supporting us at patreon.com/makeusbetter, like our executive platinum, oh my goodness, our platinum executive producer, Corey Hicks, and all of our gentlemen executive producers, Mr. Nick Milicia, Joel Brooks, James Johnson, Dr. Doom, Jesse Armstrong, my boy. Loving having some great conversation with you, my friend, after a Gaming Gurus episode a little while ago. Glauco, Shaffer, David Ray, Mike Drummie, Aaron Doherty, Martini Jean, and Mr. Moody. And thanks to everybody for supporting at patreon.com/makeusbetter. Regardless, even we've been doing some stuff over at Gaming Gurus that actually there is one going up today. We recorded this morning. It's very important for you guys to listen to that. So if you want to know what's going on with that show, we have a quick update, and I want to give a shout out to Bobby for his first courage, and I want to say publicly, I said it on that show as well, I'm with you, brother. I'm here, and I'm proud of what you're doing, and if you guys want to know more, check out the Gaming Gurus this week. We will have more information on the Patreon very soon, but in terms of what's going on with that show, please check that out on iTunes and Google Play and Nintendo Guru, YouTube, etc., etc. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, guys. If you're new, holy crap, here's the deal. I'm so sorry. Every week, I have sweet hangs with a stranger from the internet, and we talk about video games and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you want to be part of the show, tweet at me. It's at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery. Capri like the pants. I've had some amazing guests this month. It's Black History Month. I have another amazing guest, Edward Varnell. It's good that I record these after the conversation because I can tell you with complete honesty and confidence that this is a good one. If you have been down at all lately, this is one for the soul. It's chicken noodle soup for the soul. I think that's what it's called, right, Josh Stapleton? It's chicken noodle soup or tomato soup. Some sort of warm, gooey soup for the soul. This is going to be a good one, everybody. I want to quickly run through some shout-outs. First, my wife, Chelsea Capri started a podcast with Johnny Casino. It's available on dayspace.com. Should be getting approved by iTunes, hopefully by the time you guys hear this, if not sometime this week. It's called, apparently, a parenting podcast. Because parents in the word apparently, and it's like kind of that self-deprecating. It's called Apparently. So if there's any new parents out there, or even old parents, expecting parents, non-parents, mega dads, normal dads, whatever. Cool take on parenting. A little video game flavor, I think, as the connection of video games brought these two together. I've enjoyed watching their friendship blossom, all thanks to this amazing community of podcasters and content creators and people who love video games. It's all thanks to all this. So actually, that show really doesn't happen without you guys listening to this show and sharing and all of that other stuff. So thank you so much. Shout out to those guys. Again, apparently, a parenting podcast. It's on dayspace.com. Also, I think I mentioned it last week, but the show has since aired. I was on the Bad Bit show with Joseph Moran. I got to sit on the other end of the chair, or the table. Who sits on the same chair? Imagine an interview where you sit on the same chair. I suppose that'd be more like a bench, like at a booth. You do a podcast on a booth sitting on the same table like that annoying couple who they just love each other too much. Although Joseph, I think I would sit on the same side of the table. I would share a booth with Joseph with nobody on the other side. What do you think about that? Guys, I mentioned Bobby. I mentioned the apparently a podcast of parenting. Totally butchering that name. I signed up for the Ride to Conquer Cancer, and I want to thank so many people. I'm going to do a rundown when we get a little closer to the ride, but a lot of you guys came out immediately and donated. Thank you so much. If you care to donate to my ride, I have to raise $2,500 in order to ride. I'm just about halfway there at 1080. I'm sitting at 1080p, guys, so that's pretty neat. So I'm just about halfway there. Thank you to everybody who's donated so far. If you'd like to support albertacancer.ca/Sean Capri, Alberta like the province, cancer like the disease that we hate, .ca like Canada, whatever, /Sean Capri, Connery Pants, etc., etc. Thank you to everybody, and let's keep it moving. Let's keep it grooving. And thank you as well. Also, speaking of that page, I got an amazing shout out and share from Envision Games at Envision Gamecom. This was the first time I even heard of these guys, and they just like, hey, everybody, check out Sean Capri's fundraising page. Thank you so much. I think that we need to collaborate very, very soon in the future. We're going to get to our chat very soon with Edward Varnell. This one, it's chicken noodle soup or pea soup, maybe, for the soul, guys. It's very good. We're going to get to it in just a second. I feel like I need to clear the air on something. Something has been on my mind, weighing on me, and I'm going to try and do this as respectfully as possible, which is usually what somebody says right before they say something really disrespectful. But I think it is weighing on me big time. I liked a tweet by Neil deGrasse Tyson that said something to the effect of, thoughts and prayers aren't stopping bullets anytime soon. I don't know about you guys, and I don't want to get too much into this, although it's hard to talk about it and not get too much into it. I am devastated by the news of another school shooting in Florida. I don't even want to say, like, as a new parent. As a human being, I don't like seeing kids get shot down. And I'm not even in the country. It's hard for me to really say anything and feel like I'm allowed to even say it, but I am frustrated that it doesn't appear like anything is being done. Now, I like this tweet in the light that we need action and we need to do something to actually keep kids from getting, I can't believe I even have to say this. I don't want kids to get shot in their own school. Weird. I don't know if that's a political statement to make, but I think we can all agree that's a bad thing. I do hope, pray, and everything else that something can be done. I'm not saying that thoughts and prayers are not worthwhile. I'm not saying that there is no place for thoughts and prayers. I will sit right with you, and I will think, and I will pray. But a couple of people actually called me out on Twitter for liking this tweet, and I am so devastated that they took it that way, that I don't think that prayer is worthwhile. That is not, at least my interpretation of it. I'm not here to, and maybe there's so much, I don't know what it is, marginalizing, making fun of, whatever it is, defaming thoughts and prayers. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that something else has to be done. I hope that makes sense. I hope that also, and to the people who reached out to me and said that they were disappointed in me liking that tweet, I hope that clarifies, although I don't know that it will, because I did reach out to a few people to say a little bit of this, and I have had no response. So I really hope that maybe like this can be part of a discussion that we can have. I really hope that this doesn't divide people, and that if you are thinking and praying for the victims and their families, I am right there with you. I don't think this has to be a partisan thing. I am right there with you. Believe me, my heart sinks thinking about this. And I just want something more. We've been thinking and praying every single time one of these things happens, and I just need to see something else. I really am heartbroken, and I hope that we can have more conversation. This is not helpful to have you view it this way. We're not talking anymore. I'm not going to discuss anything with you on Twitter anymore. Not helpful. So I hope you guys are I talk about that at the start here because you're about to get lifted by Edward Varnell, but I wanted to say that. I want to say that even as a Canadian, I still see this stuff on the news. It is everywhere. It's the Olympics and it's this. And I just hope for happiness. Really, that's all I want. And I do. I hope and I pray, and I think and I pray, and I just hope there's something tangible at the end of it. I hope that the thoughts and the prayers cause something to be done. That's all I'm going to say about it. Thank you guys for sticking around for this. We're going to talk about video games, sort of, with Edward. This is one for the ages, guys. And this is something that maybe we all need. We need a pick-me-up, and it's coming. Before we jump into it, if anybody has heard of Guilt Battle Arena, it's a great couch co-op game that I've been playing. I played just last night with Chelsea. It's just a really simple, like kind of it looks like a side scroll. It's really just a single screen kind of arcade shooter. You've got one bullet and you got a jump and a dash, and you're just going to try and kill as many of the flying enemies in as possible. It's tons of fun. I'm going to maybe stream a little bit of it on youtube.com/WeTheNerdy, so check that out. I should also mention, in full disclosure, we were given a code, but I wanted to give those guys a quick shout out. So thank you for the code. Thank you for the game. I'm having a good time with it. I will stream a touch of it. Probably put up a review. I'm sitting somewhere. Maybe I won't even say. You guys will just have to check out WeTheNerdy.com for that, because that's where all this stuff happens from. WeTheNerdy.com. It's there. Something's happening with Lincoln upstairs, so maybe we should get right into it. My chat this week, continuing on Black History Month, is with Edward Varnell. You can follow him at ThatRetroCode. Let's do it with... Wait, do it with? Let's do it now. You'd think I'd do this before. I've done this before. Sean, just get into it. It's Edward Varnell! I still have my McDonald's coffee. I gotta stay on brand a little bit, though. So I'm super caffeinated. Oh! Dude, okay, is that a styrofoam cup?
Yes.
There's something about that styrofoam cup that just makes that look like it's super tasty.
Oh, it's so good. I cannot do McDonald's coffee because it tastes like beans dipped in hot water. It is just served. It does.
That's literally what coffee is, though.
It does. Now, you guys have a Tim Hortons, I think?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't like it, though. I will not like be just blindly Canadian and say that it's great because it's Canadian. I don't think it's very good.
All Americans who go to Tim Hortons say it's the bomb. I haven't tried it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the last time I've been to Canada was I actually went to Toronto with my high school to go
see. Oh, no
see.
way.
Yeah, and I want to come back to Canada. Like, literally want to come back to Toronto.
Oh, you totally should. Now would be a great time.
Okay.
Yeah. Why? Okay, you were in high school and you just went to Toronto. Like, where in the world are you that you can just kind of like take a trip? Like, are you around Buffalo or something?
We were in North Chicago, Illinois.
Okay, so that's a trip, man.
We was in high school. We went all the way up through Michigan. I think we went through Detroit, crossed over the bridge, and then the first place we stopped at was y'all McDonald's. And it was just like, y'all menus are different, y'all burgers taste different.
Do they?
I don't have. Yes.
I wonder what's the difference.
There was something in the quarter pounder that tasted different than ours. I think it was some kind. It might be seasoning. I think because it just it sounds weird, but the taste in that quarter pounder was different than our quarter pounder. Oh, I ate it. Trust me.
It was delicious. It was delicious.
Yeah. And so,
dude,
exactly.
So funny.
So when we actually got into Toronto, it felt like a whole new world. Like, and then parts of it felt like Chinatown that I seen in New York. I was just like, this is weird, but I enjoyed everything.
Where'd you stay? Were you downtown kind of thing? Were you around the edges or what?
Yeah, like downtown. Like,
that's good stuff.
Yeah. It's been years. I remember going to an arcade that Sega had. Sega had some kind of arcade, and I took a picture of my music teacher. And then this is so funny. So I told him to pose, give me a look, took a picture of him. He loved the picture so much that he blew it up and put it on the portrait and hung it up. I was just
my gosh.
Wow. But went to the House of Blues, had a ball there. And before we came back, we sang at the Catholic Church, and then it was so weird because it felt like there's no black people besides us.
Oh, no way. Come on.
Dude, it was pure.
It was just White Town?
white town. But I loved it. I was just like, I want to go back here. I want to come back and visit. So sometime in the future, I'll come back to Toronto or come back to Canada.
Just move on up, man. It's you can bust your leg. It doesn't cost you a dime. It's good stuff, dude.
Yeah, healthcare is so good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know how else to describe it. Are you originally from the States? I'm sensing like an accent, but I'm not sure if like sometimes just like family homegrown kind of thing.
I'm from North Chicago, Illinois. I'm not from out of North Country.
Okay.
I live in not the ghetto, but the urban or suburban area of North Chicago. Mm-hmm. So it's not the projects. But because I have a mixed family, I have a certain accent because of my granddad, who was white and Native American, and I got his like kind of accent.
Your real granddad? Now this is the one show I can't believe I don't have video working because, like, are you sure?
Yeah. So my because
I'm just kidding. I don't actually.
Sure. This is.
But let's get to the bottom of this,
dude. This is so interesting because I didn't know this. Mm-hmm. So my granddad is white and Native American. Mm-hmm. Our white side of the family, which is the Varnells, came from Texas. 3 of them tried to escape Texas, and they took the Mississippi River trying to escape. Well, 2 of them somehow ended in Mississippi because there was some kind of flood, and one of them ended back in Texas. So when those 2 Varnells got into Mississippi, they started populating with a whole bunch of black folks. So so come to find out that one of my cousins in Texas, the white side of the family, I'm just like, there's no way. He was like, yes. And the way that we could tell that we're a family is that we've got this V shape. You might not be able to see it, but we got a V shape in our head. My cousin has the same V shape.
Come on.
Yeah, so all of his family, and then he's connected to some of my other cousins and aunties and uncles, and it's bonkers.
No kidding. You're telling me, man. Holy crap.
And so on my mom's side, now this gets really crazy. Okay, so my mom's side, some people in Milwaukee, their family on my granddad's side and my mom's side. So on my granddad's side, they're my 3rd cousin. On my mom's side, they're my 2nd cousin. Some of the Varnells didn't know that they were dating family at the time.
Oh, so, well, obviously.
Exactly. So when they seen us, it was just like, wait,
showed up
this
at the
person?
family reunion and stuff.
Exactly. It was just like, you know this person? I'm like, yeah, that's my granddad. She's just like, that is my dad's cousin. And I was just like, how is that your dad's cousin? Because that's my dad's dad. They were like, what? And this is your mom? I'm like, yes. She's just like, so I'm cousin to you on both families. I was like, yep. So that's all our Milwaukee, Wisconsin family. Bunkers as ever.
I feel like I should just like end the show. Like that should just be like the whole thing. It's like, holy crap. Okay, so like when did you've obviously done your research. Is this or is this just as a result of meeting up with these other family members that you started to like draw the family tree?
Some of my family, I had a family reunion in Mississippi.
Yeah.
I found out, and some of the family from Mississippi, from Milwaukee, I found out there.
But like, who invited you? Like, there's still like you're still close enough to people who have no idea about the other side. Maybe, like,
right?
How does this not like disseminate?
because of my dad in Mississippi, they the ones that invited our families because of my granddad. My granddad is from Mississippi, so he's from that side of Texas. I mean, from that right side of the family. And when Facebook, when I found out about those families from Texas, they started friending everybody because they were just like, oh, I know you, you're our cousin and our uncle and all of that. And so I started just like, oh, he's your that's my cousin. And I was just like, wait, we got white cousins? and because our name is Varnell, I'm thinking it's just some unknown black family.
Sure,
didn't know that we originated from the white side of that family.
And so, did you say you were born in Chicago, in the Chicago area? Where were you? Like...
No, North Chicago is it's a city. It's an hour away from Chicago.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we have similar things here as well. It's funny because my wife used to work in a. She'd kill me if, well, maybe she's listening to this now. She would get calls in from people who would say, "I'm from North Vancouver," and she'd be like, "Well, you don't have to like specify where in Vancouver you are. Just say." So she would ignore the North part and just write in Vancouver. She probably, like, North Vancouver is a totally separate city. So same thing with like North Chicago, I'm guessing. It's like totally separate.
Because if you say Chicago, sometimes you have to say the north side of Chicago. From us, we got to say North Chicago because that's our city's name. So,
that's not confusing for anybody else, I'm sure.
Oh, it's very confusing because everybody's just like, "Oh, you're from the north side of Chicago." I'm like, "No, I'm from North Chicago.
Keep going.
I'm away.
Keep going.
Keep going." And they were just like, "No, you're not." And then I had to bring out a map and show them the zip code, show them the city. I'm just like, "Yeah, we're 30 minutes from Gurnee, which is where Great America is at. So that's where I'm from." They're like, "Oh." I was just like, "Yeah, when you stop on the train to get to Waukegan, to get the bus to go to Six Flags, you have to stop by our city."
Okay. Yeah, everybody can find their way to you right now, Ed. Like, that's the best part. You just gave the whole, like, transit map to... Talk to me about, like, this. It seemed like, did everybody come to this discovery at, like, the same time? And, like, wait a minute, what are you doing here? And, like, what was that reaction? Because, like, I don't know, like, what was the dynamic? Was there anything, like, surprising? Or was it jovial? I don't know, like, what was that? Tell me about that.
It was surprising because when I met that family, they looked nothing like I suspected.
Obviously.
Well, yeah, but the thing about it is that a lot of my cousins are light skinned when I was there, and all my dark skinned cousins were probably like far and few in between. And I think it's because of being such a mixed family that they didn't sleep with a lot of dark skin. Probably maybe in the 80s and stuff. So a lot of my family members was light skinned, and then I seen the white side of that family in Mississippi come out, and I'm just like, "Oh wow!" They're just like, "Yeah, we're your cousin." And some of them I talked to and hung out. I don't talk to them now because we all kind of lost contact and everything.
Yeah, man, it's tough. I live in the same city as my like core family. We see each other once a month, so like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so it was just like, wow. And then all of them see my granddad was just like, so we somehow originated from you.
Right?
Just like, yeah.
I just see like this, like these two branching family trees all leading up to like this one smiling picture of your granddad, just like, like, I just like, what a legacy to have like these two totally different sides of the family.
Yeah.
So what about like where everybody is from? And I'm trying to ask this as like respectfully as possible, but like, were there any like biases one way or another? And then you go like, "Oh, wait a minute, we gotta put those aside because we're family."
No.
Yeah, that's good.
No, because everybody knows each other. It's so cool, and the family is so big that if there were any problems or drama and stuff, we know nothing about it. We know keep that mess at home because we got guests who drove 9 hours out of town to come here to be with us. So all those shenanigans, you put them to the side.
I love it, man.
Yeah. So yeah.
Now you mentioned like, and it's a true shame that the video is not working for me today, of course, because you're dressed so well, your Sunday best. You just came from church. Is that something that is part of the entire family or parts, or like, cause it seems like everybody just came together and just loved one another, and maybe that's all part of it.
It's part of it for some of them. Not all our family is religious, but for some it is. Like if they start singing old Negro spirituals or old hymn book songs and stuff like that, 85% of the family would know it. Now the harmony stuff, that's a if. I'm like, you guys gotta stay on one note and let me go on another. Cause
like thing, dude.
Because it is true. Because some of our family are
no judging, but like
no judging and stuff. But some of our family is not musically inclined. So they'll sing one note or they'll be off, and I'll just be like, you're clashing with me, you're in a minor. Okay, this is three part.
Ed, is that the white ones?
No, that's
musically inclined?
No, that's the black one. I got some white family members that could sing.
Okay.
That got some pipes. And I'm just like, I need your album right now.
Oh, that is so funny. It's funny because Chelsea, again, she'll kill me if I'm just gonna, maybe this will be the last story I tell about my wife, but she wanted like a gospel choir at her wedding so badly. Like she just wanted everybody up and singing and clapping and everything. We're like, yeah, we don't know where to get one. We don't even know where to find anybody to sing for us.
You could probably just ask someone's praise and worship team, and probably at a gospel or non-denominational church or something to be like, hey, or look for a community choir, because you normally some community choirs, they are somewhat religious, because they all come from different churches and stuff, so different beliefs, and you probably could get them and come and just sing and stuff, and just be like, hey, we would like to invite you guys to come do 2 numbers.
See, I'm talking to you like 4 years too late, man. This is really unfortunate, because that was just like such an easy answer for you, like just do this. So I'm like, oh yeah, that actually makes a whole lot of sense.
Trust me, I've been in so many, well, not so many choirs, but I've been around a lot of singing, gospel singers and worship leaders at different churches, and so I've been in a lot of groups singing and everything. So
where does that start for you? Is it like it sounds like a chicken and egg kind of thing? Is it you're singing so you go to church and sing there, or you're singing at church so you start, like where does the musical stuff come in for you?
The musical stuff did start at church when I was 5 years old. Funny thing though is that at that time I was able to sing all the parts without learning. So I didn't have a choir director teaching me the part. I was able to dictate parts just by hearing it. And so that's always been my thing. Just hearing stuff, be like, okay, that's alto, that's tenor, that's
really?
soprano. Yeah, I started teaching when I could teach and arranging harmonies and all the stuff like that. And then later on in college, I started sight reading, and I was just like, okay, I can learn. Okay, I know where I'm at. That's the note. That's the A. That's the C, D. So
what?
I'm still learning this stuff. So, but like if I hear something like, oh, I could drop this note, make it minor. I could make this major. I'm trying to learn how to get stuff augmented and demented. Can't do that yet, but I literally could just be like, hear a song, learn everybody's parts, and teach it if I can.
Man, that just blows me away. What about your parents? Like, I'm just trying to figure out like where does this come from? You're gifted, man. You really are.
Yeah, I just hear my mom sing, literally in the church, literally hear her sing, and she's in the choir, and I like my goal was to turn 15 so I could join our church choir, and for about 20 years I had been in the choir. About 20 years I have been in our choir, and then I had to stop because of my job. They were taking my time for rehearsals and for me being at church, so I'm not in it at this time. So. Oh
my gosh, man, that just like this is completely blowing me away. So, like, what's your family life like now? Like, where? I have no idea. I can't even take a guess. Like how old you are. Like you could be.
I can tell you right now. I'm 37.
Okay, so I was gonna guess between 20 and 35 years. Like I would put you in like a demo, like an actual like demo. I mean, like I'm not really sure, man, because like you have like this like childish innocence and energy about you that I don't know that I've come across in a long while, dude. Like where does like are you always this young at heart?
I am. I've been taught always to respect people and be positive about stuff, and it's kind of weird because I'm an Aries, and they're just like Aries care about other people before they care about themselves, and that thought has always been with me. Like I care for others, and I want to see others do good before I even do good. So I've always just been positive. There was a point in my time that I was negative down on myself because of the way that I look, and of course when kids are not bullying you, but making fun of you, you can sometimes start doubting yourself. And I just got to a point like, look, I'm dark, I'm black, I'm ugly, whatever you want to call me, but guess what? I'm alive. And
I don't know, man. I'm looking at you right now. You're a sharp looking dude. Like, and you like video games and you're musical. I mean, let's go. What else is there?
Yeah, but I just started believing in myself, and like I always root people on and stuff, and I got to a point where being negative doesn't justify you. Being negative don't get you nowhere. I'm just like, who wants to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning and be like, hey, I'm going to be negative and just hate stuff? I'm like,
I'd love to wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, to be honest with you. That sounds amazing. I've been up, what is it, noon right now? I've been up for like 8 hours already.
Ooh, good night. That's at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, like the baby was up pretty early today. So lately he's been good. But that's why I got to stay on brand with the coffee, man. That's where it's all coming from.
See, that's why when you start posting pictures of the baby, I'd be like, yes!
Yeah, we've already been to the pool. He's down for his nap. It's all good, man. Talk to me about your church, dude. Like, I want to know what it's like. Like, what faith is it? What religion is it following? Like, what? Tell me about your church a little bit.
So my church name is Prayer Garden Church of God in Christ. It's a Pentecostal church. So we take kind of the hymn up in
I'm sorry, the what?
Hymn book.
Oh, the hymn book. I'm like, they take the hit 'em up?
Sorry, the hymn book.
Gotcha.
You know how the Catholic Church, they be like, oh, for the. We don't do all of that. We be like, oh, for the.
Oh, yeah.
And then you just make it
keep
all
going. Don't
gospel.
stop. Come on, give it to me.
No, I gotta stop. So we kind of did that and make it feel like a spiritual, like, so not an old Negro spiritual, but it's like hand clapping, foot stumping, like it has a rhythm to it and stuff. And then we do like maybe some worship songs. Back in the day, we did a lot of Chicago songs and Mississippi songs. So it's a full choir and it just has a certain sound, like vibrato and stuff. We be like, for you can. That's all our vibrato and stuff like that.
I love it. Yes.
And so, we've done that for a while and then we kind of switched it up, but, that's our sound and, our worship is, free. Anyone could join. We had white members, for the Navy base who came and joined us and left. And like, if we see them, we always give them love.
Oh, I love it. How much of your own family is there with you? Like, what is your, like, where are you right now? Are you like, do you have a family? What's your situation, man?
So I have a brother who's older than me. I'm the youngest one. I have a sister who's the oldest. My mom is still around. My pops passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
It's all good. My auntie and her family and my uncles and stuff. So I have family still on my mom's side and my dad's side. Most of my mom's family goes to our church. My dad's family goes to a different church. So,
how many people would you say? Like, you guys all in the same car and you just like hop out of this big old van and just run into church singing the whole way there and back?
Me and my mom, right? Me and my mom have our separate cars. So my mom takes my sister and her kids, and then I drive myself to church now. Everybody pretty much just drives themselves there.
I love it. Well, talk to me about this. I'm being a little facetious about it, but I am wanting to get to a little bit of the community spirit to this because, like, I am just so taken by that, probably more than anything else. Like, I have gone, like, I am baptized, confirmed. But at a certain point, like, my family stopped going to church every Sunday, and we started being the family who did like Christmas and Easter and kind of thing. And then that kind of stopped happening. And I'm like, it felt kind of disingenuous to just do the Christmas thing, like for me. And then you just kind of fall away. But I always remember the community aspect and the dedication to it more than the dogma itself, like more than the rituals and everything, which is kind of why I'm wanting to know a little bit about like the singing and like what is it like to like go together, just to have that on Sunday. This is what we do together, and I'm gathering it's just what it has always been.
There's something about fellowship among people. And whether you believe or not, just sometimes hearing something like hearing the word of God or hearing ministry through song and stuff, a lot of that speaks to all of us, and we'll be able to fellowship it. When the pastors make a joke, and some of us be like, "Oh, we know that too well." There's some people who know stuff a little bit too well, and you can laugh at it because you know that it's true. And if you're still doing it, you're just like, that's a pain in my heart, and I gotta change my ways for it. But I think when the community fellowships with each other, when you meet people from different churches or you sing with them and everything, and you all get along, it kind of shows what the love of God and what the love of Jesus is about. I'm a person, me and my friend, we kind of had this argument in the car about gays and lesbians and stuff like that, and I am a person who just love everybody, gay, lesbian, whatever, and I was just like, sometimes I know we could all be religious and stuff, I'm like, but sometimes people who should have basic human rights, they should be able to get married. You're taking their money from taxes. If someone who was a sinner was giving a church $500,000, do you think they were not going to take it? They're going to take that, and they're going to claim it as a donation. Now, it doesn't say that you're buying your sin or stuff like that, but sometimes as a Christian or a religious person, you got to love people no matter what. And I think that shows the love of God. That shows the love of Jesus. That shows what fellowship for the community and for your fellow church members, your fellow brothers and sisters. You got to show that love. Yeah, you don't have to agree. Yeah, you don't have to agree with some of the stuff that people shouldn't get married and everything, whatever that case may be. But the thing about it is, still respect that person, still celebrate that person has found happiness. If that person want to get married, guess what? A, it's not coming out of your pocket. So that has nothing to do with you. B, if they don't invite you, don't try to barge in.
That's a good point. You're not invited. Yeah, that's a pretty basic rule to follow.
That's their stuff. Because my thing is, if you upset, guess what? You're not involved in any of this. You're not involved in their life. A, you're not their parents. B, you're not their brothers and sisters. And C, once again, you're not paying for the wedding. If nothing is connected to you, stay on the sideline.
Let me just highlight something, because this will go out tomorrow, basically. So this is, sometimes the show is timely, and today's a good example of that. Sometimes we record a little in advance, but this is timely in that, like, your words speak so loud and clear to me at this time in everything that is happening in our world right now. And whatever you believe, I hope that, like, when people hear you say these words, like when you say this to me, my heart is like full of love and joy. Like, I don't know, regardless of what you believe in, regardless of what you practice or read at night or don't read or whatever, like, have love for your neighbor is like, it just warms me up, man. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I'm actually kind of like taken aback, because it doesn't sound like it's put on. Like, this sounds like it's just from your core.
The thing about it is, it's some people have a position of want to be right, want to be the judgment, or want to be the judge. And you're not God. You're not Jesus. You didn't die on a cross for everybody's sins. You're not Buddha. You're not. Guess what? You're not all of that stuff. If you want to be in a position of being right, okay, that's fine. You have every right in America to do that. I don't know how Canadians go.
Nobody has that right in Canada. That's different. We'll save that for another show.
But the thing about it is just that's for them.
Yeah.
And when something gets passed that benefits somebody in a positive way, you should be happy about that. Everybody who's listening to this probably might know about a religious person baking a cake, and now they don't want to bake that cake for a gay person, and we're having that kind of problems. Guess what? we have laws in place for discrimination, sexual practice and stuff, and other people are using different examples. It's a cake. Guess what your cake is? Right. It's a cake.
I just want to spit out my coffee. It's a cake.
Yes, it is. It's
name of the show. It's a cake.
If you're fighting over your freedom of speech because you're a Christian and stuff, you could have had your shop in the church. You didn't have to put your business in public. Once you put your business in public, you now have to follow rules of the state. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to serve a gay person because of your freedom of religion, put your business in the church. Mm-hmm. Thou Make Cakes need to be at St. Petersburg of the Fifth Angel playing the tambourine, Church of God or something. That could be at that church. But when you put your business in where people can walk in and buy your cake and walk out without you knowing their background and their life, then you should be able to make a cake for them for their wedding. And if that cake is the bomb, guess what? That marketing is going to position you to have better business.
Now, is the cake gluten-free? Because we have to have gluten-free cake, so there might be an additional problem. I'm totally just take you off track.
If they could make gluten-free cake, go right ahead.
All right. Yep. Yeah, man. Still tastes good. Edward, I want to talk a little bit about still kind of staying on this track. I'm looking behind you on the posters on the wall, and for the most part, I can see a little bit of Link, which I obviously love. I see a little NHL, which I obviously love as a Canadian. Cute Yoshi, Yarn Yoshi. So everything's great. But talk to me about going to church and then shooting people in the face in Titanfall. How does that jive? And I have no, I think that is perfectly fine. I don't know what's your take on it though?
My take is it's a normal life.
Yeah, man.
So it's there is stuff some people just be like, you gotta be holier than thou and you can't you're not supposed to mix with the world. But I'm just like, guess what? Their video games are very artistic and they tell a narrative. You're going to have fun. You're going to create discussions. You're going to have stuff being addressed. And so, being a person like me who play video games, who go to church, I buy my own games. Mm-hmm. It doesn't affect what I believe in, and what I do. I can hear the cuss words because I watch R-rated movies, same way I watch Disney movies. I'm around people who use foul language. I used to work at a grocery store and I had to sell beer.
So you've seen it all.
That's my job, and I just feel like, well, it's a normal life for me. It's a social thing. We see it as a hobby because I see it as a hobby too. But it's something that I grew up on and I enjoy. If my mom could play Mario Brothers, then I'm allowed to play Mario Brothers. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Dude, I just love I should have come prepared maybe with some real existential stuff because you have this magical way of just making it so simple. Well, of course I play games because that's just life. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. And whatever people, just open your heart to love and respect and acceptance. This is exactly what I don't know about anybody else. I could always use a little chat like this.
I look at it as with the gaming community and stuff. Okay, I'm big on Nintendo, and I admit on my podcast on Option Opinion that I'm biased at times. You don't have to
say that on your breath. We're gonna talk about that in a second.
But I'm just like, I love everybody who plays video games and who's on the sidelines and who knit gaming stuff or who has a podcast. So I love when something can make you feel creative and you want to project your creativity to the world. Mm-hmm. I love stuff like this. I've grown, when I mentioned earlier that I was thinking, I'm a songwriter. I've been writing songs. I can't play a lick, but I can write you something. I can write you a hit song or a song and arrange it and have all of that, and we can work back and forth. Mm-hmm. And I wrote stories even as a Christian. I wrote dark stories. I used to do a 10-minute challenge to myself where I would start with this thing and then just give descriptions and change it up and then, just make twists and stuff. Like, I've written dark stuff. I've written light stuff. Reading different kinds of books. Like, my personal religion and my belief in God and my relationship with God is not like nobody else's.
Right.
Your relation is your relation, and that's it. For me, I just feel like when I play games and when I talk about them and I'm shooting zombies and people up in Titanfall. Because guess what? I can have a discussion about that with other people. I could write a paper. I could write a blog. Go ahead and.
I'm like wanting to like clap right now. I just like this is like an applause moment. Yeah, absolutely. Having a discussion. Shocking. This is an incredible concept, man.
Right. So I could talk about the negatives and the positives because it's, people are like, well, I only play shooters because it's easier to do. Well, can I challenge you on why you feel that, you play first person shooters make you entitled gamer, like make you really big and stuff.
I'm pretty triggered by this statement, man. I don't think that I can even go on any further. That's a little too much.
Right, but feel like you need to judge people who play RPGs because they read a lot. Like your ability as a gamer in one genre doesn't change the fact that other people can enjoy what they love to play. Yeah, I'm just like, if you're stuck in one genre, you're literally missing a lot of stuff because while everybody is talking about Super Mario Odyssey selling all of this and it's beautiful and you worried that nobody's talking about Call of Duty, it's because, well, you're stuck in that genre of first person shooters and you haven't tried to expound out for the fear of you're not going to be good at it.
Mm-hmm. Did you mention that you wrote some music? You've written some, like, are you using some tools on computer and stuff to write stuff, or how does that work?
Paper and pencil.
Like literally writing on.
Yeah.
So you're arranging.
Yeah, I'm literally writing the lyrics and singing it out, and then okay, so back in 2005. I had a karaoke machine. So I actually made an album on 2 tapes. So I was doing all the whole song on, singing my part, singing the lead and just going on. Then going back, recording the whole song over to add the harmony. And so when I had everything, and I would put the final version of it. Now, this is all on a karaoke machine. No computer or anything. Like, I had like 14 good songs that I put all a cappella, no music to them.
Dude, yeah. The reason I asked, because I was hoping to maybe grab something from you to introduce, like, as the show and our conversation like codes in, I like to have a little chunk of music and then we kind of fade in. But if you have anything, do let me know and we'll have it introduced. Otherwise, I was going to ask you about, like, because your relationship with music is something very special and something I don't come across all the time. Are there games or series or a particular title that strike you as like really strong examples of music in video games?
Yes, the strongest one is Streets of Rage 2. I am a house head. Ever since my friend got me into house music, hard house, ghetto house, because we live in, I was close to Chicago, we get like mixtapes or house tapes, and we have things like Apple tracks or tracks are for kids. Like
that's
we had
hilarious.
Yeah, and the cover would be look like the cereal or something. I had one of them called Master Tracks, and it looked like a MasterCard, but it said Master Tracks. And so I would just hear all of that, and then when Streets of Rage 2 came out, because I love Streets of Rage 1, and I was just like, oh, this is good. I heard that, and then I was just like, oh, this album is good. And Streets of Rage 2 has always stuck with me with, I think, some of the best music. Of course, Nintendo is like a whole different thing, but like house music, I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is I used to sometimes Friday night just cut on the soundtrack on the Sega Genesis, just blast through my TV and just like a little bit dance and stuff. And I have been a house head, I think, ever since like 1995, and that musical stuff, I'm just like, I might not be able to write music like this, but I know how to count it. I know that this is 4/4. This is the drum machine. This is I can hear it, just be like, yes, I know.
Oh, I love it, man. I'm digging this so good. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, well, I think we've covered music. We've covered church. Let's talk about the show, man. Let's talk about optional opinion. You sort of like very casually brought it up, but it's my second bullet point on my page here that I wanted to make sure that I talk to you about. Tell me about the show. What is it? Where does it come from? What do you do on Optional Opinion?
Okay, so Optional Opinion is a one-man show. That's my podcast. Mm-hmm. And what it is to bring topics that we normally don't talk about in the video game industry or just in main life. Mm-hmm. And the show is about me giving my just one opinion, but also give some options to it to solve or to think of when I'm talking about that topic. It started out actually on oneup.com, mm-hmm. and Jeremy Parrish just asking for a name for a podcast and stuff, and I just put out Optional Opinion, and it never went anywhere. But I was using Optional Opinion as blogs, and when I guess Ustream was available, I turned it into like a thing like that. And then my friend got me into getting equipment doing the podcast because he had one, and then we tried out Optional Opinion, and it's been like that ever since. So it's trying to tackle, like I said, things we normally don't talk about, and it evolved into a little show until like an hour plus or something like that. And now I'm trying to mix in like different genres of video game music, like metal, jazz, acapella, house, the video game sounds, covers and stuff like that. And those are like for my breaks, but I try to give some history to some stuff, teach some things about a genre, or just really tackle one of them I actually was talking about, and for kids, if you have kids, I'm sorry about this, but one of my shows was can video games help your sex life? Oh, and so I talked to one of my gay friends. I talked to my straight single friend, and I still got to do a third part to it because I kind of want to talk to a married couple and see how does you have a video game that you play, something like Snipper Clips, have that help you guys like really
get it on, man.
And get it on and stuff, or foreplay and stuff. And so that's something we don't talk about. Sometimes video games, people cosplay and stuff, and I just don't want to talk about Gamergate. Okay, well let's talk something different than Gamergate. Yeah, it's a big issue, but the opinion about it is going to be the same across different shows. So let's tackle it and viewpoint it as in a different way. So,
I wonder how many people, speaking of music and games and getting it on, like I wonder how many people were like really into Rock Band and Guitar Hero and had like legit groupies. Like
you know what? There probably have been some.
It's like every nerd's dream. Like I can't get into a band, but like maybe I'll impress this chick with my sweet Flame in the Flood. That's not the right flame. Fire in the Flame. Damn it! What the hell is that song? I always do this, Ed. That always happens to me.
Well, sometimes people, where you probably could be like, well, video games helped us get have our sex lives because we actually met at a video game convention, or we met playing this game or talking.
Oh hell yeah! World of Warcraft all the time. I hear that all the time. People met or got married or something because of World of Warcraft.
Yeah. So
what I think too is like on the other side of video games is this sort of like side part where like there's the podcasting and everything. Like there's got to be people finding newfound confidence in themselves by putting themselves out there through podcasting. That has to, like, it might not be quite as, oh, I heard you on the podcast and I want to get it on, but it's like a little more, it's a bit more of a journey. There's a Luke Lord journey for you guys, everybody. It's a bit more of a path. for you to find yourself, find your own confidence, learn how to talk to people, learn how to like finish your own thoughts most of the time. And yeah, man, I feel like that's got to be something. And that's, my wife and I talk about that all the time, where like we want to encourage Link to get into whatever he wants to.
Yes.
Video games are just going to happen to be part of his life, just because like this entire wall, if he doesn't like take this down on him, then like he really doesn't have a choice but to at least be exposed to it. So, and I've always really respected, you mentioned people who play RPGs read a lot, and I've always thought people who are hardcore into RPGs are just they're on another level, because like they're way smarter than me for the most part.
well, you know what, it's the thing about that is just like, enjoy what you enjoy, but try to go out from what you know and find new games.
Can I tell you what that is for me right now? I think we have a connection point here. That is Monster Hunter for me.
Exactly, and I'm trying to get in, and I haven't really been into Monster Hunter, but I have bought it for Wii. I bought it for Wii U. I got it on 3DS, and I'm still playing it. Still
giving it a legit shot, man.
Giving it a shot, and I'm still trying to learn it, because it's just like, this is something that I don't normally play, or I'm not exposed to, because definitely for me in my area, I don't really have a video game community who wants to hang out and talk about games like this. Like, I think because of the neighborhood that I'm in, a lot of them play sports games, and I kind of don't. I need to get into it. Using my own words, I need to get into and stuff, but I'm just like, I there's just so much out here that I want to play and expose and research and like and talk about. You know,
I feel like it's usually the other way around. Like you're entrenched in games. Usually it's like the sports games kind of bring in people who maybe that's their first, or like kind of like it's their entry point into video games. That was definitely it for me, for sure, and especially with my friends who weren't all going to be reading IGN every single day, or reading up on the normies, I think is what we call them, just normal for filthy casuals. I don't know. I think it's man. So so we were gonna do something a little while ago. Actually, you reached out to me quite some time ago. You asked me just out of nowhere, how much do you know about video or arcade games?
Yes.
And I was like, that's a kind of a weird thing, because like we were so cheap. Like, I was the kid who would like pretend to play. I don't even know if this is a thing, but this is definitely what we did. Like, because all the video games were on like demo mode, I would just pretend to play, because I couldn't, like, we didn't have a quarter to put into the thing, so I'd just be like, oh, I'm getting joy out of just like the demo that this thing is on. Like that's what I had. But I wanted to ask, like, whatever happened to that? Because you were doing a thing like called The Beauty of Video Games. Was that part of the show, or was that a written thing, or what was all of that about?
That was a written thing and a podcast thing. And last year, I completely failed at it. I didn't finish the project when I should have. I just got busy. But I think I still have some people. I did get someone to talk about it, and I still did the podcast and put them out, because I think I created The Beauty of Video Games to celebrate video games. I think sometimes there's just too much toxic and negativity. Be like, hey, you know what? Let's celebrate it. Let's really take time and think of, let's celebrate Nintendo. You're not a Nintendo fan? Guess what? Still celebrate Nintendo, because they produce some good games for other people to get into this genre. Let's celebrate Sony, Microsoft, PC. I mean, let's just say this is the good thing about video games. This is what we love, and this is what made us fans. Let's just, for 1 week or 3 weeks, celebrate that. This year, I am going to get back to it. I'm going to get all my writing down early and get my podcast stuff early. And so I asked you, because I thought because you being a podcaster, you from Canada, and I wanted to ask you, just like, how was video game, the arcade scene in your days in Canada? Because you're in a different country.
Yeah, it was pretty much just like 7-Eleven for me. Like, and even in junior high, there was a bunch of us who we would go down to 7-Eleven down by, we call it Sev for short, because 7-Eleven's way too many syllables. So we go to Sev, and we would actually share, like, probably the most dedicated I ever was to any one arcade machine was a Tekken machine at 7-Eleven. And we would share it. We would put in 1 quarter, and my friend would play the punch and kick buttons, and I would play like the joystick, and that would be it, man. We would just see how long we could go and see if we could make ourselves late to go back to school after lunchtime. Wow. And it's so sad. We had a sweet arcade here though. It was called Palladium. It was in the world famous West Edmonton Mall. It's alongside the World of Mall of America, very big. So it was like this huge 2-story arcade, and it was like the first of its kind. Now they're a dime a dozen. Like you walk in and you get a card, you load it up with credits and stuff like that. But this is like back in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s. And it was incredible. Like just you didn't have to worry about quarters, and I mean by then arcades were more than a quarter anyways. So it was like, a buck or two. So Palladium was unreal, but still my being cheap around video games was so ingrained in me, man. I'm like, I don't know if I should be spending money on this. Like that is deep in me even to this day, where I'm like, maybe I'll just wait for that to go on sale. Maybe I'll just but it's not all the time. Like it's because I still have the urge for like the new bright and shiny thing. Like I still bought Monster Hunter like first thing, which is very unlike me. First that it's full pop, and then also Monster Hunter. But yeah, man, I'm sad that we never got to do, but we should loop back around because I really enjoy talking to you, first of all, and you should not ever, like, if it's not that topic, like we can do whatever, man. We should. I want more of this. And
I've always every time I invite guests on, and we'll talk a little bit of our topic and then we'll sidetrack to it.
Right? Yeah, man. Like that's the thing. I shouldn't have said no, because I'm like, we'll figure something out, surely.
And the thing about it is that, because I always welcome you, Sean. You're always welcome to come on Optional Opinion. If you have an idea that you might not be able to talk on your show, but actually want to talk on mine or want to bring a topic, just be like, hey, Ed, I want to know, like, does Contra make you a gun nut or something like that? And we can have a discussion. We can literally have that kind of discussion. I was just like, I don't know. I'm like, you want to come on the show and do it? Bam, we'll go and do it. And it don't even, like, Optional Opinion is not just video games. It could be anything. I've did an episode about depression, and the goal for that one is just how do people who don't have depression learn and how to handle.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
And I talked to a person who deals with depression, and we had a really good talk. At the end, we got into video games, not just nerded out and stuff. Yeah, and man. I asked them just like, how do we interact with you guys and make you feel confident? And he gave me an answer, and I'm still learning. And he just like, he understands that when people say positive stuff and support and everything, that person who's dealing with depression has to recognize themselves first before they accept everything.
Here's my advice to anybody because like I've talked a lot about it on this show. Here's my advice to anybody who's been dealing anything like I've been going through. Talk to Ed for an hour, man. Holy crap. It's just like my whole spirit is just like lifted. This has been, and I don't know if people hate or love when I do this, but I want to connect you with Jacob Rush, who does Nintendo Nostalgia, because your angle on celebrating video games is exactly like his, and I feel like you guys could hit it off. So I don't know. You reach out to him, or I'll give you his contact or whatever, because I definitely need to hear you guys celebrate Nintendo together, because it would be a lovely time.
He might get surprised to just be like, how much of Nintendo do you know? Can we go from the NES to
do it, man. That's what his show is like. Every episode they celebrate a game from their past, and it's all about digging into like the nostalgic memories of having the sleepovers and having like the bowl of chips and popcorn or whatever you've got around, and just the good old days of playing games and trying to revisit those and revive them in our minds. It's good stuff, dude.
Look, not all of Nintendo stuff was good during my time.
Oh snap! Okay, maybe Jacob isn't the right person.
No. Oh, I mean, we could. I would love. Oh, trust me, we would touch down and nerd out, but not all Nintendo games were good. There was some janky garbage mess. What was that? Is it Dark Tower? I think
I don't know about that one.
I gotta think of it where everybody was talking about Dark Souls. I was just like, no, it was this game on NES where it was just a screen and you had to like find a key and keep going up the door. So I think it's called Dark Tower or something like that.
It sounds like something that was on Rare Replay, one of those super old Rare games. I can't remember what it was called.
It may be, but I'm like, that game is the original Dark Souls.
Oh man.
That game was literally hard. Wrath of the Black Manta, that wasn't a good game.
Wrath of the Black Manta?
Yeah, I used my birthday money to get that game. And dude. I kept getting somewhat to the last part of the game and could not beat that one boss and just never beat the game.
Oh my gosh. Quickly, I think we have a quick moment here at the end. You know that this is, and we kind of, I like the way I was going to bridge it from when you mentioned it, but I wanted to make sure I come back to it, where, we can celebrate video games for a week at a time or maybe 3 weeks at a time to kind of ward off some of the negativity or just to celebrate it in general. I'm loving this thing that we're doing on We the GamerCast, which is we're celebrating Black History Month. It's a great reason to have you on, and we had Delvin Cox and Devin Tyus and Blessing's gonna come on here, and at least nice. We're scheduled it's gonna I'm just loving this, and my pledge is that this isn't. I don't want to go back to just March and go all right, white people back on, and we'll just that's This is a launch pad. I think that's really what I want to look at this as. And Joey Craig, Skyward King, of course. We've got so many people coming back on. I'm really looking forward to it. Tell me a little bit about what Black History Month is for you. Maybe whether it's within video games or outside. Talk to me a little bit. Is this a thing? Is this Black Panther's out? Talk to me about February.
Well, with Black History Month is to really teach about famous black people who have done stuff for the black communities, and to celebrate how we got out of slavery, how this was invented, that people in the past paved the way for us to be part of the future, be able to be inventive, to be creative, and have civil rights and stuff like that. That's kind of how I see Black history. So for us, for me, it's a reminder that everybody in the world has contributed to something to have the life that we live, and this is what the black community has done. May sound weird to some people, but don't forget that Black history should be throughout the whole year, not just 1 month. And
it is that reminder that it's this is the time to think that everybody should be thinking about it all at once, but
right.
Yeah, you don't just stop.
Right.
On February 28th, or maybe sometimes you guys get an extra day.
Yeah.
Once every...
That is true.
Of course, it's in this totally bizarre month. It's shorter than anything else, but I think it's a beautiful thing too, because I've been asking that same question of the guests on the show this month, and it's different for everybody. Yeah. And and I think that's really that's a true symbol of what it should be. I don't know that it should be one thing for everybody. It's just kind of that's the true nature of it all. So you have a beautiful answer.
And I think there's just a lot of black people that we still are learning about who have done something for us, whether it's the present or it's in the past. That's going to lead, or some people in the present, that's going to lead to the future, where later on that generation might celebrate and stuff. But yeah, it's something we just celebrate, and we should do it more often. I know when it comes to video games with me, it's pretty much just talking to anybody about video games. And I know we don't have a lot of black characters in video games. It's always good to kind of for me personally, talk to another black person, and they know something about Mega Man. They know something about Blaze from Streets of Rage 2. They know how to fight with Akuma and stuff like that. Or we're talking about Heavy Rain, and just talking about our decisions and stuff. Because for me personally, I don't meet a lot of people like that. Like, that's all new to me. Yes, I talk to a lot of white people. I can't help that. That's just who I talk to a lot, because
it's just life.
It's just life.
I love that, man. It's hilarious.
And when I do meet people at different jobs, or we just connect on different stuff and talk about video games, I enjoy that conversation. And I'm just like, okay, we need to exchange numbers, we need to hang out, we need to talk, or you need to come on my show.
Look how joyous you are, man. I just love this. It's so infectious. Yeah. Well, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna take us off into a slightly different direction here, but still on the same thing. I think, personally, I've done a lot of in my own 30 some odd years on this planet, done a lot of learning, and I hope that a lot of us have. I hope that we're not all the exact same person we were when we were born and when we were in elementary school. Hopefully, we've grown and matured, and I've definitely, like, probably too late in life, realized the importance of something like this, something like Black History Month or Gay Pride Parades or all these different things where it's like a moment in time where you can just, like, forget everything else and this gets to be celebrated. And I know that there's varying opinions on that, which sounds even weird to say, but it's kind of like it. Oftentimes when something like Gay Pride Parade happens, you'll have some people on the other side going, well, where's the straight pride? Like, just stop, because you get that every day.
The thing about it is, like, people who are like that, who be like, where's the straight pride parade? I'm just like, what's fun about education and about learning? That you get to connect with more people. Yep. And that's some of the way that you meet the people that you could do the same thing and actually be exposed that you learn. So when you hear other people who just say statements that don't have no facts, or that person don't know anything, you know the history, you know the background, and you know where all of that came from. So you start understanding where that person come from, or why a gay pride parade is important to celebrate. You get your straight pride. Guess what? Even if you was given a straight pride parade, how many people are going to show up, and how many people going to be like?
I think that's a sad question to ask. Unfortunately, I think
because think about it, who's going to waste their time to come to a straight pride parade when they could see that during a drill team, a cheerleading, a high school, Thanksgiving, celebrating the 100th year of Lucky Charms? It could be anything. It literally could be anything for a parade.
Edward, that is amazing, dude. Oh my gosh. I think I need to have that as, like, the start of the show I need to have that. I don't even know. That's a soundbite for the ages.
Like,
oh man, that's hilarious.
Like, you're going to get your parade. So I'm like, how much money are you going to invest in? And
I didn't want to necessarily, like, draw too much attention on those people. All I really want to do is to draw more attention to the fact that these types of things are super important, and there's a lot of great things to learn from them, and great experiences like our chat today, because I don't know, man, like, this is something that hopefully we get to collaborate a little bit in the future. I've said it a number of times in this conversation, my whole being is lifted just looking at you smiling at me through the Skype call this entire time. I am totally devastated that the camera is not working for this stupid show. I can't believe it. Now that we'll close things out here, Edward, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you and just get a little positivity in their life, man? We need more Edward. We all need a little bit more Edward in our lives.
Okay, so you guys can first find me on Twitter at thatretrocode, ThatRetrocode. Some people think it's the Konami code. It could be any code back for the day.
Yeah, man, it's Game Genie.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, we had stories about that for another day. But you guys can find Optional Opinion on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, or any other podcast apps. The other shows that I do for podcasts is on Nerds Going Rogue Radio. That is my network that I'm part of. I have an Xbox podcast called Arsenal X Podcast. You guys can find that on YouTube. Also, Nerds Going Rogue Radio. We just did the commentary for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. I am co-host of Nintendo Power Block with my boss Corey Derrick, and
there he is. I was waiting for you to mention Corey, man. I was wondering when that was going to show up here. Here we go.
And I'm also part of World 101 podcast that you guys can find on Nerds Go Rogue Radio on YouTube, and yeah, just check that out there. I don't know if you know, Sean. We talked to Pierre Schneider. I talked to the developers of Shovel Knight.
Oh, hang on, Ed. You have to check behind you, dude. Just check behind your chair. I think you just dropped a couple names out of your pocket.
I'm just like,
yeah, what's behind me? Yeah, check on the floor for those names you just dropped.
Yeah, so those are people that I talk to on World 101 podcast. Cool, but yeah, my main podcast, Everybody's Optional Opinion. I just did my 100th episode.
Congratulations, that's huge.
Thank you very much. The second bunch of game awards, so you guys can check that out. And I'm getting ready to release more episodes, so you guys can check it out on SoundCloud and everything. But
keep up the good work, man, and keep we need more of this in our lives. Thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for your patience as my computer almost died before this all happened.
Trust me, when starting out in the podcast world, you're always going to have technical problems.
I'm very sorry. It's been a long time since I had anything like that, so hopefully this actually airs. But it's been great talking to you, dude. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
That is it. If that wasn't good for your soul, I honestly am not sure what will be. Hopefully you gain some positivity from that and you push that back out into the rest of the world. I think that's what Edward would want. That's what I definitely want, and that it just continues to push on. As I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've been feeling way better lately. Like way better. I want to thank everybody for your support over the last little while. I want to thank Edward for this. Just another boost in my step, a kick in my step, a step in my step. Skip, pop, and a step, and a crack, snapple, and pop. Thank you to Edward Varnell at that retro code. I will take that as the Game Genie code, like I mentioned. I did throw a little Streets of Rage from ocremix.org at the start there, so thank you for mentioning that. Remember, I am Sean Capri on Twitter, Sean like Connor, Capri like the pants. Please follow the show at We the GamerCast. The website is We the Nerdy. I will be doing something very soon with We the Nerdy, which is writing a review policy, which sounds like the most boring thing ever, but it's more of like a, how are we going to do reviews over at WeTheNerdy.com? I've got a couple ideas up in here. I kind of want to talk to Blessing about this, actually, at OK Beast. Those guys, their standards are like up here, and I want to be right with them. God, I love their sense of identity, so I might be chatting with him in a little bit as Black History Month continues. It's not over yet, and this better not be the last time. We're not switching back to We the White Cast after this. Goodness gracious. Thank you guys for supporting this show as well as the Gaming Gurus. Very important episode going up today on iTunes as well. I'm still doing the Xbox Drive, and that show is still a gong show. If you have checked it out, you know, and if you haven't, join us. Jump on board, become an Xbox backseat driver, because it's good times. Go through and get my coffee at McDonald's, and we evaluate the effectiveness of their drive-thru. Goodness. Thank you to everybody for supporting on patreon.com/makeusbetter. We're going to be doing something with that. I've got a couple of ideas I need to talk to the guys about and see what we're going to do in light of everything else that is happening. And I thank you guys so much for supporting the Patreon, even in this little hiatus. I really, from the bottom of my heart, it means the world to me. I haven't picked a game to put in the show notes, but there will be something there. Last week it was Life is Strange. I'll put something else there. Maybe a Dark Souls, or I think I gave away the Dark Souls. Something. Otherwise, this is episode 130 of We the GamerCast is now in your ears and your eyeballs. Thank you for listening. I'll be back next week. Hope you're there too. Now it's time for Jason. Jason is here. Jason, press X for Jason. Where the is Jason?